Good morning, everybody. This is round 2 for some of us, but for the others, this is round 1. And I mean round 1 in the way it's supposed to be meant because this is our first pinning ever for our echocardiography students. So before we ever begin, awesome job, guys. Thank you for coming today to share in the accomplishments of our graduates. I'm Adrienne Wade. I'm the program director for the Diagnostic Medical Sonography programs. And with me today is Bree Webb, who's the clinical coordinator for sonography, Jerry Smith, who's our echo instructor, and we also have Amanda McKay, who's an adjunct for our sonography program. Before we get started, I would like to take a minute to recognize our honored guests who are in attendance today. Please stand to be recognized. The LCCC Board of Trustee members, the President's Cabinet, and the School of Health Sciences and Wellness. Thank you. And now please welcome Dr. Schaefer to the podium for opening remarks.
Thank you, Adrienne. Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful treat to be here celebrating our inaugural class of echocardiographers graduating from LCCC. I will tell you, ever since we started that program, that's the word we've had to try to work to say over and over and over again. But I want to just share a quick highlight about this program specifically and how important it is to our region. So we know we have a long history here with our diagnostic sonography program and the impact that that's had on our region for significant opportunities and challenges within the healthcare industry. But echocardiography was an area that we recognized there really was a larger gap within the region in terms of programs and opportunities. So large so that through the Governor's Wyoming Innovation Partnership, they planted seed funds to get this program essentially off the ground and running for our region. And that means that this program has some exceptional attention being given to it right now by the governor of the state and many of the individuals around the state. So it is incredibly exciting to be at that point where we get to celebrate the first products, if you will, the graduates of LCCC's ECHO program. And so Adrienne, Jerry, staff, Starla, Dean Mason, really congratulations on a wonderful start to this wonderful program. To the family and friends that are here, thank you for supporting our graduates through their program. I know that means a lot. And of course, to our graduates, congratulations on being our first. Now, because you are our first, we will probably follow up with you and make sure that you are doing well. And I've already offered to follow our one graduate to Hawaii. So that trip is already scheduled. Hopefully I will be there. But levity aside, really congratulations. I know this has been a momentous point for the college. But for you personally, as you've journeyed to this accomplishment, it'll be momentous for you and for your future. And so best wishes, good luck. Do us proud when you get out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. Today, we are celebrating the pinnacle of success for these graduates and the success of our first graduating class of the echocardiography program. Over the years, I often get asked, what makes a great student? These students have been asked, what exactly do you do in school? To answer the questions asked of us, a great student needs to be flexible, coachable, and passionate about their chosen field. These guys had 1 full year of speed racing to get through this echocardiography program. So their passion had to be pretty dang high in order to keep up with the momentum that we required of them to make it to today. On a daily basis, these students studied for hours after having their classes, and they would have 5 labs a week for the first 8 weeks of the fall semester. And then they went straight into clinical, where they worked 4 to 5 days a week at the hospital, and then they had to go home and they had to study for the classes that they were taking online. So a heavy lift for these wonderful graduates of ours. They also had families that they had to keep entertained during that time. Some of them worked outside of their clinical hours in order to make it through this program. So again, another heavy lift for these amazing sonographers that are going out there to scan adult hearts. Those of you that are here have supported your graduates in every possible way over the past year, and you have learned how difficult this program is and was for them. At the beginning of every summer, I tell our students to make sure you find your support system, whether that's your husband, your wife, your loved ones, mom, dad, whoever. It could even be the person sitting next to you. Unfortunately, for the echocardiography program, They had only each other because nobody knew what they were going through for the first year. So they learned along the way. And Jerry and I became a very big support for them for the first few months that they were here on campus. And then afterwards, Jerry became their sole support, making sure that they were on track and they were studying and getting what they needed in the clinical setting. You may have even brought your graduates some ice cream or chocolate or anything to help soothe the stress while they were crying over their books, or maybe not crying, but stressed over the next test that they were going to take. But that's what we are here for, is to show them that we support them no matter what they have to endure throughout the course of their lives. I thought we could give you guys a brief insight into what your graduate went through for our ceremony. And as you guys walked in, hopefully you were handed a different bingo card for those that are here for the second time. And everybody else should have an Echo bingo card because the words are different. So on these cards are words that we use in echocardiography on a daily basis. They are the terminology that we use across the nation and across the world so we understand what we are talking about. There are lots of sonographers and echocardiographers, and none of us will ever scan the same. But these words are always going to be the same. And when we see these words, we understand what we are talking about. It's our own language. So with this, we're going to take a fast stroll through the summer semester in the first 16 weeks of an Echo student. So get your pens ready, click, click, and we're going to get started with these bingo cards. So welcome to the fast track of echocardiography school. You have completed all the prerequisites for this program. Starting now, everything you have learned has been the foundation of your knowledge, and you will continue to grow that foundation as you continue with your career. You are an infant in the echocardiography program. You will learn how to walk, how to talk, and how to scan and write as you move through this program. The anatomy, should be one on your cards. Classes have provided a solid foundation that you will build upon over the next several years and continue to have that foundation for your career. Echocardiography is unique, and it has its very own vocabulary to describe our findings. These findings can be normal or they can be abnormal. And our job is to learn the difference so we can report it to the cardiologist or to the doctor that is overseeing us. The first lesson is to learn the vocabulary for echocardiographer that we use to describe our findings. The first word is anechoic. Anechoic meaning black, no echoes. So with the adult heart, we are constantly seeing anechoic structures because the heart is full of blood. Blood is a fluid, which means that the heart is going to be black. So all the blood in the heart will be anechoic. There are artifacts that can also occur that can be black, but it's not anechoic because it's not fluid-filled. It's other things such as shadows or things that are blocking us like the ribs. The ribs provide a shadow. And we as echocardiographers and sonographers have to learn when that shadow is real or it's artifact or if it's telling us there's something wrong with our patient. The opposite of anechoic is echogenic, which means bright or white on an ultrasound image. Heart valves are echogenic in an ultrasound image. And so are the bones of a fetus. We have to learn when the echogenic is acceptable as normal and when it's not. With the valves, we actually get to see the valves flapping inside the heart as they move, which is why echocardiography is such a fun, dynamic imaging modality. We have to learn, we also have to figure out the different shades of gray there to decipher. There are about 256 shades of gray that our ultrasound unit provides us, but the human eye can only see about 64 shades of gray. The nice thing about echocardiography is they're more black and white, so they don't have quite as many grays that they have to decipher. The first comparison for, let me just back up because I forgot two very important words here. We're going to talk about two terms that they use to compare wall motion in the heart. And it's hyperkinetic and hypokinetic. Hyper means that the wall is moving more than normal, and hypo means that it's moving less. The first comparison is normal, and the myocardium comparing if it's normal myocardium to an infarcted myocardium. Did I say that right? Yes, okay. I'm not echocardiographer by trade, so I'm learning something new today. If the heart is not getting enough blood, it will be hypokinetic, meaning that it's not moving as fast as it should. The other terms that we must know are stenotic and regurgitation, which tells us if the valves leak or if they do not open. Regurgitation means the valves leak, and stenotic, which means the valves do not open well. Did I mention that your guys' exam for vocabulary is tomorrow? Yeah? It's okay, I'm just kidding. All right, but typically our graduates are like this. We teach them something one day, and the next day they come in and we have a quiz or we have an exam ready for them. So we don't give them any downtime. So then what is ultrasound? Well, ultrasound are sound waves that are produced by an electrical current in a transducer at a frequency of 1 million cycles per second. These sound waves travel through a medium that produce an echo and assign a level of gray to help us see the image. We are not only experts in human anatomy, but we are also experts in physics of ultrasound. Each sound beam must travel through a medium, which is the gel that we use to produce an echo from inside the body. The strength of the returning echo is what assigns the black, white, or the variation of grades that we use. The ultrasound machine also allows us to make adjustments to those levels of grays so we can identify them. Some grays are very close to each other, so we can adjust different parts of our machine, such as the dynamic range or compression, or we change our frequency, and that allows us to make those adjustments in order to see the anatomy that we wish to see. But there are three things that we always must remember, and these three words are very important. They are depth, gain, and focus. These are the parameters that are set forth by us in order to make sure that we provide diagnostic images across the nation. With the depth, we are required to have our images or the region of interest 1 to 2 centimeters below what we are focusing on. The gain should be at the level that you can see the surrounding structures and also see what you are looking at. If we are too dark, we might miss something. If we're too bright, we might make something look abnormal. So we have to understand what our levels of gray are supposed to be in order to make sure we have a diagnostic image. And then we also have to do focus. Now, here's the crazy thing. Focus is going away. Some of the manufacturers have removed the focus from our machines. And as old timers like me, I'm freaking out because I don't have this focus anymore. But the new way they're doing the machines is based upon the depth, they predict where the focus is supposed to be. So we have 2 machines in our lab that do that. And then we have 2 machines in our lab that still have the old timers focus, which I really appreciate. So next year, I'll probably say there is no more focus to worry about. But we need that in order for us to identify what we are looking at. That tells our machine, we need you to focus here. This is where I want the most strength to go so I can get the best image possible. And did you guys know that your graduate is proficient in knobology? Yeah, knobology is a real thing. It's one of the first competencies that our students have to do when they're in the summer program. Our machines have over 70 knobs, toggles, and different variations to terms in order for us to understand how our machine operates. These guys have to know the machine like the back of their hand because they're scanning with their left hand and working the machine with their right hand at all times. So when they are scanning, they have to be able to operate it and make the machines diagnostic. So we have to know depth, gain, and focus. And we have some soon to be second years walking around because our next task is you guys have completed the first semester and now we're moving into scanning. And if you are one of the lucky ones that is sitting in a chair with an orange piece of paper taped to the back, or you have one of the ultrasound units under your chair, you get to practice scanning today. So you can learn how to scan. So reach down, find your little machine, but then pause and I'm going to give you more directions. So find your cute little machine under your chair. Okay, before you do anything, they're going to put a little dab of gel on your arm, but then I'm going to give you the directions. So turn on the machine and get the dab of gel on your arm, and then we're going to talk about these cute little machines. What's that? Yeah. Did you get a bingo already? All right. We got a bingo, everybody. We got our first bingo. What's that? Oh, okay. Second bingo. All right. Okay, everybody got your cute little machines on? All right, so the thing that looks like your phone is actually the ultrasound machine. Attached to it is on a cord is what's called the transducer. So that transducer, I have to give you really important information or you won't be able to make the machine work. There's this little light on it. It's green. Does everybody see the green light on their transducer? Yeah? So it's important because that light has to either be facing up towards that person's head that's being scanned, or it has to be pointing towards the patient's right. That's how we know everything's lined up. When the green light is pointing towards the patient's head, that means we're in a long view. So we'll be able to see everything in a lengthwise. When that notch is pointing towards the patient's right, that means we see everything in a cross section. Everybody find your green light? Okay, the first thing you're going to do is point the light towards the person's head that you're scanning. So it's going to be long, and you're using the long, skinny side of the transducer. Long, skinny side. And graduates, you guys are more than welcome to help your family members out there. Okay, so once you get on there, you should be able to see the muscles. And so the person that's getting scanned, you're going to flex your arm. You're going to squeeze your fist so you can see those big muscles moving in that little ultrasound unit. Everybody have big muscles today? Been working out? Everybody went to the gym this morning, so they're nice and plump? Yeah? Okay, now on the ultrasound unit, there's a little button called color. You guys can hit that color button, and you're going to get another box on it, and you're going to try to find a vessel. The only way you can find a vessel, though, is with the green light pointing towards the head. You have to have it in long. Otherwise, you won't see the vessel. So put that green light towards the person's head. Now, last ceremony, I don't think we found a single vessel. So if you guys find a vessel, you're better than the sonographers. Come on, Echo. Let's see if you're better than the sonographers. Anybody find anything red or blue in there yet? No color yet? Oh, the red's artery, yep. Come out a little bit further this way. There it is. That's the artery right there. Oh, you found one. There it is. Good job. Okay, we found a vessel in this group. We're doing good. All right, once you guys have attempted to find the vessel and you feel like you gave it enough time, there should be Kleenexes getting passed around so you can wipe off that gel. And then you guys can just slide those units back under the chair and we'll continue on. Yes, we got 2 vessels this group. All right. All righty, as you guys continue to clean off that gel, I'm just going to explain a little bit more about ultrasound, and then we'll continue on, and we're about almost done. So I gave you guys a few words. Need a tissue, Devin? Okay. I had 3 boxes. That one's out, Devin. We'll have to find you another one. You know, just it dries like water. Just rub it in. It'll just be extra moisturizer. Okay, so we gave you guys a very brief idea of what ultrasound can do. And with Echo, they do so much work with color and spectral. That is kind of like their life. They scan live. And so with sonography, a lot of times you guys think about sonography as the baby ultrasounds and whatnot. And you see these perfect like still images. Well, Echo likes to work in real time. And so they like to see everything live all the time. So they don't usually use the freeze print like sonography do. They actually record live recordings of the heart as they are scanning. And so when they are doing that, they watch it in grayscale, and then they put it into color, And everybody's heart beats really, really slow, right? No, it beats really, really fast. Not super fast, but fast enough that you have to train your eyes to see what is happening. So when those valves are opening and closing and the colors on there and things are going red and blue and green and yellow, they have to train themselves to understand when there is stenotic valves or when there's regurgitation. And so that is something I have no idea about, but I have learned a lot helping Jerry. And I have learned that is a whole different side of sonography and a whole different style of art that you have to do with echocardiography. They also have to do a ton of spectral Doppler, and that's listening to the sound of the heart beating. So when they put the spectral Doppler through the valves, they can actually identify if the blood flow is going the correct direction or if it's going backwards through the valves. Now, Jerry could probably stand up here all day and talk to you about what all of that means, but we'd be here way too long. So in a nutshell, they have to know what it looks like in grayscale, black and white. They have to know what the color looks like, if it's going the correct direction or not. They have to know the Doppler, and then they have to know all sorts of numbers. You guys know a lot of numbers, don't you? I see a lot of nodding heads. So the number thing is huge. They have to know way more numbers than sonography does, thank goodness. So with that, we're going to move on into a little bit more of what we're going to do here. So when we are doing this, these sonographers definitely have a different skill set than anything, especially with the eye-hand coordination. So with echocardiography, I believe you guys have 4 main areas that you scan. Is that right? You have the apex, subcostal, substernal, and suprasternal. Yeah. So they have 4 areas that they can look through for the heart. Excuse me. And they have to adjust their little transducers. You know, on the transducers that were just passed around, there was a long skinny one and then there was kind of a short stubby one. They like to use the short stubby one because it can get underneath all the different parts of the anatomy, and then also in between the rib cage so they can actually see the heart better. So it has a smaller little, what's called a footprint. So they're able to get into smaller spaces so they can actually see different areas of the heart. So the expectation with these guys is to, about an hour most echoes take when you're first coming out. Jerry's probably down to 30 minutes, but that's after 35 years. So you guys have a goal to reach, maybe before 35, get down to 30. But it's a lot of eye-hand coordination, having to move that transducer, operate the machine, keeping your patient comfortable. And most of our times when these patients come in, they are not healthy. They can't breathe, they have a hard time laying still, they're just had surgery, or they're just not doing well. So they have to constantly make sure that their patients are doing well while they're trying to do this lengthy exam. So the second year, well, these guys aren't, I guess the second part of their first year, they head out to clinical. And when they head out to clinical, they're actually working on live patients, and they get 1 shot to do all of their echocardiography images. And with that, they were Jerry for 4 days a week, 5 days a week? Yeah, about 3-hour labs every single day, coming in, scanning, and then they head off to their clinical site where they learn how to scan on patients. They have to learn different protocols, they learn different machines, they learn different patient skill sets because every patient requires something different. And so these guys did not get to memorize anything. They had to work hard, they had to work fast, and they had to figure out what they were doing before they headed out to clinical. So with that, they had a challenge that nobody else has ever experienced because they never got the lengthy time to sit there and say, okay, I have a full year to learn Adrian's anatomy. Nope, they got 8 weeks. So with that, they head out to clinical. And when they're at clinical, they have to also study because they have 2 classes online that they have to study for outside of the clinical time. So that passion that I talked about, what makes a good student, that's what got them through this last year. They have persevered, and they are here today to be the first graduating class for the echocardiography program. But there's also some pretty impressive marks that I want to talk to you guys about for their accomplishments. These guys, in how many weeks did you guys have clinical? 8 plus 16, so 24 weeks. They logged over 800 clinical hours, along with 2 online classes for each of those semesters. They had to complete various competencies in the lab setting, and then they had to go out to clinical, and they had to do 17 echo skill competencies in order to graduate this year. As of today, we have the following soon-to-be registered sonographers in the area so far. 7 have taken physics and passed. We have 2 that have passed a registered cardiac sonography exam. And we have, I know, 6 for sure that have jobs. I believe all 8 will have jobs very soon. So that's a huge accomplishment. So a round of applause for our graduates. Our graduates have mastered the art of echocardiography as entry-level echo techs, and they will be using that skill for the next year to become even more masterful in their art. Here's a secret that nobody knows about echo or even sonography. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the field, there's always going to be a day that you feel like you're a brand new student. Even 35 years later, as for Jerry and over 20 years for me, there are still times that we don't know what's going on and we step outside the room and we ask for help. Our field is growing and evolving every day, and this is one of the most humbling careers I know, but it's also one of the most rewarding careers I've ever been in. And Jerry will attest that echo is probably even better than sonography. There's still a debate out there, but we have that debate going on. But for you guys, you have to be confident, open to growth every single day, and be ready for a lifelong learning career. Never give up, and you guys will always be learning until you retire. Confidence is not being the best. Confidence is knowing when you have something different and unique and you're not sure what's going on, and having that knowledge to step out of the room and go ask for help or get somebody's input to know what exactly is happening with your patient. It's okay to step outside and get help. It is also one of the most rewarding careers because you get to make a difference in somebody's life. You're compassionate, you're skilled, and confident with those skills. Our graduates will prove to our area that they have the qualities and will take these qualities with them wherever they go. Now, we will conduct our pinning ceremony for our graduates. Amanda is going to step up and help us with that part.
Okay, the pinning ceremony is dedicated to our graduates and represents the culmination of their last year in the echocardiography program. It is our way of showing them how proud we are of their accomplishments, and the pins are meant to remind them that they can do anything they put their mind to and be successful. We asked each graduate to select an individual to pin them and to provide a brief description of why they chose them for this honor. As we call the graduate and selected pinner, please come up to the front to receive your pin. Our first graduate is Brianna Cannon. I have chosen my daughters Emma and Adeline to pin me. With determination and perseverance, we can accomplish anything we set their minds to. By sharing this moment with them, we're celebrating our achievements and demonstrating the importance of family support and belief in each other's dreams. It's a reminder that we have the strength and capability to pursue our aspirations, knowing that we'll be there every step of the way to cheer each other on. The next graduate is Devin Edgar. I chose my dad to pin me because he has always been there for me and has always supported my dreams, the bad ones and the good ones like this one. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to pursue echocardiography and build this next chapter of my life and career, and I am eternally grateful to have such a loving and supportive father. Rainey Hassler. I chose my boyfriend Jacob to pin me because he has been my rock these past 2 semesters. He encouraged me to keep going even when clinicals tested me and made me think I wasn't cut out to be an echocardiographer. He always asked about my day at clinicals and whether I found anything new or interesting. He not only helped me study for countless tests and exams, he also encouraged me to periodically take breaks and watch Brooklyn 99 to relax and clear my head. Thanks for always believing in me, Jake. Courtney Cahey. I chose my husband and daughter to pin me because they have been my biggest support and encouragement over the last year. They have always been my biggest cheerleaders and have helped me cope with the stress of starting a new job, the loss of my father, and managing a full-time clinical schedule in school. They truly are the reason I was able to do any of this at all. Thank you, Joe and Bea, for your love and support. Rachel Makatomas couldn't join us today. She's the lovely student who has enjoyed Hawaii, so she couldn't be here today. Connor McCracken. I chose my dad and my CI to pin me today. My dad represents my family and the support they've given me throughout my life and academic career. Thank you to my family for everything. I also chose Wade Creekaw, my clinic ward, sorry. I was trying to get the last name right and I missed the first name. I still screwed it up. My clinical instructor for his patience and willingness to teach me about echocardiography. Thank you all for what you've done for me. Nicole Mitchell. I've chose my mom because she has consistently been there for me and has been my rock. I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without her. She has supported me and has kept my head straight during hard times. She is a giver, and I hope I will be able to give back one day. She deserves the world. And last but not least, Monique Olivas. Today I have chosen my dad to pin me because both he and my mom have been my two main pillars of support throughout my entire college career. Some people know my dad as a man of few words, compared to me, that is. But he always knows just the right thing to say when I come to him in times of need. He has guided me through life and keeps me level-headed with a voice of reason when I come to him exploding with emotion, which can be often. I do not have the words to begin to describe the level of appreciation I have for my parents and how much they have done for me, so all I can say is thank you, and I love you both.
Thank you, Amanda and Jerry. All right, so the LCCC echocardiography program would not be successful as it is today without the help of every clinical site and all the echo techs that helped to train our students for this year, and we thank you. Our students in our program are genuinely better because of your efforts, dedication, and helping to strengthen the sonography field by adding in our echocardiography program this past year. Each clinical facility will receive a reward and recognition with comments from their students regarding their amazing time with you. I would also like to thank our DMS Advisory Committee for helping us to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our stakeholders, which is why we started the echocardiography program, because we did note that we needed more of echo techs in this area. Their valuable foresight and goals keep our program at the forefront of imaging field as it continues to change. As we conclude our ceremony, we would like to express our gratitude for having the honor of sharing this day with you. This is the first year I do get the privilege of speaking on behalf of the echocardiography graduates and honor their accomplishments in this program. It's a real honor to have supported, educate, and mentor and help you guys achieve your dreams as echocardiographers. This class has proven to us how amazing you are, and we know that you're going to do amazing things in the echocardiography field. We are proud of you and take comfort in knowing the echo community is well cared for, along with every patient that you will help. Graduates, please stand for one more round of applause. This concludes our pinning ceremony. Please join us for the reception in the room next door to us and congratulate our graduates. Congratulations to our first echocardiography program. Congratulations. And done. Good job, ladies.